The day the system departed from my life marked a turning point. My son vehemently shouted at me, "Finally, you can stop pretending. You may not realize this, but I've been able to hear your conversations with the system for ages. Every time you called yourself Dad was an act. Men like you, who cling desperately, only disgust me." My wife approached with her radiant counterpart, her once tender gaze now filled with disdain. "If it weren't for the fear of the system punishing Jiang-yi, I would have divorced you long ago. A coward like you is unworthy of being my son's father. I hope you think wisely from now on, otherwise do not expect me to show you any mercy." The three of them appeared to revel in their newfound unity. I could not suppress a smirk. Was it possible that my affection had been nothing but a fraud? After all, how could a mere player truly love an NPC? Upon hearing my son's words, I felt a fleeting pang of sorrow, quickly replaced by a sense of relief. For, compared to my distress, I was grateful. Thankfully, he could only hear the dialogues, otherwise the love I feigned would have been laid bare, severely hindering my progress in the game. My son stared at me, bewildered, and charged at me like a young calf, his mouth moving incessantly. "Dad, your tactics are utterly revolting. You never considered anyone's feelings, coercing Mom into being with you, tainting my very lineage. Honestly, I regret being your offspring every single moment." At 6 years old, his face bore a venomous expression unbefitting his age. Su Shui smiled softly as she ruffled his hair and guided him nearer to Jiang-yi. "What my son says is true. Every moment spent with you over the years has filled me with revulsion. Now that your system has departed, as long as you do not cause a ruckus, I shall not neglect you." Her tone was laced with condescension, igniting my son's fury. "I don't want anything to do with him. Disgusting player, go away with your system. Shameless. Bah. You should leave. I only want Uncle Jiang-yi as my dad." He lunged at me like a cannonball, but Jiang-yi managed to catch him, ruffling his hair affectionately. "And you mustn't speak of your father that way. Though his methods may be underhanded, he simply loves your mother too much, a pitiful creature. Let us not hold it against him, otherwise others will say you lack proper upbringing." Suan instinctively furrowed his brow and spat on the ground with contempt. "Pitiful creature, simpering fool, desperately clinging on. Uncle Jiang-yi is right, you are nothing but a pitiful creature." His gaze remained fixed on my face, searching for any sign of injury to gloat over. Yet, I maintained my composure, offering a benign smile. To me, they were merely NPCs, if I were to be blunt, code that required fixing. What right do those entwined in a game have to ridicule those who exist outside of it? Moreover, I am an exceptional strategist. I have traversed countless worlds. If I were to love anyone, it would only be myself. Suan, however, was unconvinced. He pointed mockingly at my smile, sneering, "Stop pretending, Dad. I know you're heartbroken. Still, you insist on smiling. Here's the deal. If you apologize now and let me ride you like a horse, I will forgive you and still call you Dad. But don't even think about Mom, she belongs to Uncle Jiang-yi. They are the true pair to self-righteous and foolish son. Honestly, not one I desired." Yet, the care I had provided him over the years stirred a twinge of regret within me. Su Shui, with a detached demeanor, severed my gaze, her expression one of haughty pity. "Zhou Yu, you see for yourself. Our son does not favor you. With your status, you are unworthy of being his father. You will always be an outsider. Jiang-yi, on the other hand, is intelligent, handsome, and comes from a distinguished family. He interacts wonderfully with Anan. Once we marry, he will be a splendid father. As for you, had I not feared the system punishing Jiang-yi, I would have divorced you long ago. You, a coward, are unworthy of being my son's father. I sincerely hope you think wisely moving forward, otherwise do not blame me for my lack of courtesy." 2. How can one be so discourteous? I lounged nonchalantly in my chair, relishing the expressions of the three individuals before me. They presumed this to be a blissful conclusion, hence their vehement denunciation directed at me. Yet this was precisely the conclusion I had orchestrated. "Very well, I concur with your sentiments," I responded with a calm demeanor, devoid of interrogation or excessive emotion. A flicker of astonishment crossed Su Shui's face, swiftly replaced by indignation. "You agree?" "Of course," I replied, flashing a bright, untroubled smile that revealed my immaculate white teeth, betraying not a hint of sorrow.
Viangi envelopet suju inan embrace, sutin hergenti.
Xiao Shui, why would Zhou Yu be upset about receiving such a substantial sum of money from your separation? It merely cost him a little time. The child is yours alone. How could he possibly care? In fact, I suspect he eagerly anticipated the separation to squander the money. The affection he once professed for you might have been mere pretense. Su Shue's dim gaze reignited with fervor. Suan struggled to free himself from Jiang Yi's grasp, delivering a kick to my knee. You have no right to use my mother's money. I know you too well. This is all an act to garner my mother's attention. How could you possibly not love me? You disgusting leech. I bet you're secretly wishing death upon Uncle Jiang. But alas, my mother does not love you, nor do I. His words inadvertently comforted Su Shue, and mother and son glared at me with palpable hostility. Zhou Yu, I can offer you money, but nothing else. Do not attempt to play the victim. Regardless of your claims today, our divorce is irrevocable. You are also welcome to attend the wedding between Xiao Shui and me. Their synchronized retorts left me no opportunity to respond. I found myself at a loss for words, yet I could not help but comprehend their sentiments. After all, I had genuinely devoted myself to both of them over the years, laboring tirelessly. To assert that I bore no feelings for them would be met with disbelief. Some things, since they are not believed, are indeed futile to articulate. After all, a fictional female CEO cannot fathom the humble plight of a worker such as myself. This is my vocation. I shall not entangle myself in matters of the heart, yet for them, it is real experiences and life lessons. I shook my head, choosing to disengage from the trio. Su Shue made no attempt to pursue me. Her heart was solely occupied with the prospect of a reunion with Jiang Yi, leaving little room for concern regarding me. Ironically, our initial encounter was somewhat absurd. At that time, Jiang Yi had been dispatched overseas for studies while Su Shue had just lost her most cherished boyfriend, her family teetering on the brink of bankruptcy. The tribulations of love and career had rendered her dangerously frail, nearly leading her to despair. It was during this tumultuous period that the system assigned me to her, to accompany her through her most arduous and trying times. I cared for her diligently, investing considerable effort, ultimately leading to the fruition of our relationship and our entrance into the sanctity of marriage. Of course, I had not genuinely invested my emotions. Even during moments of intimacy with Su Shue, I employed the system as a means of deception. I could distinguish between my professional obligations and my personal life, fully aware that this was but a fleeting chapter in my journey. Once I depart, all would return to dust. As for Suan, he was a mere byproduct of the narrative. I had contemplated teaching him to the best of my ability. However, I held no affection for him and would not absurdly remain for the sake of a child. 3. Moreover, this child, having interacted with Jiang Yi for only a brief period, had already betrayed me completely. A week later, our divorce certificate arrived, and Su Shue did not utter a single word to me, hastily clutching the document as she raced toward her newfound love. That evening, the union of the Su and Jiang families was broadcast across various screens. This was quintessentially Su Shue. Love is love. And she was eager to assert her claim to the world, demanding a proposal. I watched the proceedings with an impassive demeanor. The ceremony was grand, held in the city's most opulent hotel, complete with fireworks and drone displays. Their shared history was romanticized into a beautiful narrative, devoid of any trace of my existence. Lavish and enchanting, it was assuredly true love. Otherwise, such extravagance would be unfathomable. As for me, I possessed several zeros in my bank account, rendering any losses negligible. Just as I contemplated changing the channel, my phone rang abruptly. It was Suan, awkwardly raising his phone amidst the crowd. Ensuring I could see the image of the two embracing figures, I was momentarily taken aback as Suan, with a stern expression, began to speak.
Did you see?
Bad Daddy, Mommy and Uncle Jiang make a perfect match. You will never be able to disrupt their happiness. Otherwise, I will be the first to ensure you suffer consequences. Remember, with the system gone, it's just me and Mommy here. If you don't behave, we'll make sure you end up with nothing. I was at a loss as to where he derived such confidence. The system's departure merely signified a temporary hiatus to submit a task. I would not linger in any world for anyone, especially not for two ingrates. When Jiang Yi's family faced difficulties and returned, I had made all necessary preparations. I never believed Su Shue truly loved me. Having traversed numerous worlds, I could discern the nuances of affection and understood the complexities of human nature. Thus, upon discovering that Su Shue and Jiang Yi were clandestinely meeting, I inquired about the task's progress from the system. The system, having collaborated with me for so long, was well aware of my intentions. To expedite my departure, it altered the task to a side quest, as long as the female protagonist experienced profound heartache. Realizing the value of love and appreciation, I would fulfill my obligations. This was the optimal outcome. I need not engage with her nor concern myself with whether her affections were genuine. The task progressed swiftly and was nearing completion. In half a month, I would be leaving. Daddy, you're starting your act again. What S with the silence? I want to feel sorry for you. If you're such a good actor, why not pursue a career in drama? Young Soo-in was oblivious to the larger picture. His sole desire at this moment was to flaunt his mother as happiness, hoping to prompt my withdrawal. Without hesitation, I ended the call, disregarding his irate protests. Su Shui had transferred a considerable sum to me, and rather than waste time on trifles, I intended to indulge myself. Friends who learned of my situation hastened to keep me company. He was the only person in this world with whom I could converse meaningfully. One should not be stingy with close friends. So, I generously purchased the most extravagant wedding dress in the store, reserving it for his future nuptials. The attendant, brimming with excitement, processed my card, exclaiming, "Sir, you must truly love your wife," akin to the romance between Sue and Jiang. It's such a delightful tale, childhood sweethearts reuniting years later to wed. It's simply blissful. My keen eyes caught sight of the video playing on her phone, and I understood her implication. My friend, pale-faced, attempted to intervene, but I smirked and held his hand down. Indeed, it was a charming narrative after all. One was a fool and the other a simpleton. Their happiness sealed to prevent them from inflicting harm upon others. My voice was low yet audible enough for those in the store to hear. For Zhou Yu.
What do you mean by this?
The door was violently slammed, and I turned to see Su Shui. She had arrived swiftly, having just been at the proposal scene, now appearing at the bridal shop. Jiang Yi's expression was even more dismal, his form nearly wavering. Xiao Shui, do not blame Zhou Yu. It is I who have marred your marriage. Having you in my life is enough. He is justified in his vitriol towards me. With tear-filled eyes and a demeanor that exuded both grievance and unspoken affection, she indeed appeared pitiable. Su Shui strode forward, pointing an accusatory finger at my forehead. Didn't you agree? What is your purpose in coming to the bridal shop now? Are you attempting to sabotage my wedding with Jiang Yi? I knew you were too readily agreeable. It seems you were merely waiting here for me. Jiang Yi hid behind her, the two tightly intertwined, fingers laced together. In my mind, I screamed in frustration, yearning to pry open their skulls and inspect the quantity of cement within, how they could possibly involve me in this. My friend, growing irate, scrutinized Su Shui with a cold gaze. I don't see what's so special about you. You're not particularly attractive. How could you be so presumptuous as to think Zhou Yu is exclusively yours? To be honest, this wedding dress is for me. Once, due to my influence, my friends treated Su Shui with excessive courtesy, almost as if they were adoring her. Now, having been publicly humiliated, Su Shui slapped my face with such force that it resounded loudly enough for bystanders outside the shop to hear, drawing a crowd of onlookers. I tilted my head, frantically pondering in my mind. Surely, being struck unaware should earn me a reward from the system, right? However, to Su Shui, this was a source of sorrow. She angrily turned away, providing a terse explanation. This is a lesson for you. I have warned you before. If you cause trouble, I will not spare you. Zhou Yu, do not let this happen again, or you shall never see your son again. I spat dismissively and scoffed. Su Shui, you should be grateful that I do not strike women. Do not be so conceited as to think that everything I do concerns you. I am here solely for my friends. What connection do we have? I deliberately paused, her gaze fixed on me, her fists unconsciously clenching. It is merely your money. My words were so resolute that Su Shui absorbed none of them. It was as if she operated on a separate mental wavelength, her narcissism an innate trait. Zhou Yu, stop pretending. You are deliberately doing all this to make me feel guilty, aren't you? Otherwise, what a coincidence it is that we meet in the same wedding dress shop. Let me tell you, whether you are acting or investigating, I will not be deceived. To me, your performance is abysmal, akin to that of a pathetic clown. She edged closer, her face betraying her intent to see through me. I yearned to slap her, yet reason prevailed, reminding me not to strike a woman. Instead, I turned and landed a punch on Jiang Yi's face, plunging the scene into chaos. Enraged, Su Shui tore at me, kicking me frantically. Have you made enough of a scene? Resorting to violence when your secrets are exposed, and after all these years, you have shown no growth. I feel ashamed to have once married a man like you. Now, get lost. I refused to relent, my skin marked by her grasp, blood oozing forth. Su Shui summoned security, forcefully separating us. Zhou Yu, you do not care for me, nor for your son, do you? I have told you before, you should listen. Since you refuse, you shall never see your son again. Who would wish to see that equally dim-witted Su-in? I scoffed coldly. Su Shui wore a victorious smile as she supported Jiang Yi away. That evening, I received a call from Suan. His face, bearing a resemblance to mine, was etched with distress. Dad, how many times have I told you? Stop trying to ruin Mom's happiness. Why, at this moment, are you still so shameless? Determined to disrupt everyone's joy? He seemed to ponder how to address me, finally sighing after a lengthy pause. Dad, you need to grow up. Mom is getting married next week. Hearing of their impending nuptials nearly made me laugh, for this was the opportunity one awaited. Only by vanishing at the most pivotal moment could she experience the most heart-wrenching emotions, thus understanding the value of love and cherishment. Suan was oblivious to my intentions. As I remained silent, his impatience grew. Did you hear what I said? Can you not show any dignity? Do you not realize you are embarrassing me? His words dripped with frustration. I feigned agreement, swiftly blocking and deleting his number. Without the interference of these two dim-witted father and son, I managed to enjoy a period of happiness. Soon enough, the day of Su Shui's wedding arrived. Determined to irritate me, she sent an invitation. I donned my most dashing attire, taking my designated seat with a smile. Suan looked particularly dapper that night, clad in a white suit as the flower boy, guiding his mother towards what they believed to be their happiness. To all present, it was a scene of blessings and anticipation, while I wore a mask of mockery. Two unfamiliar figures had been fixated on me since my arrival, their gaze lingering on me numerous times. I understood that they had been sent by Su Shui. She desired to witness my desolation while fearing I might disrupt the ceremony. I waved my hand in resignation as the MC began recounting the couple's bittersweet, yet romantic tale. Dad, did you hear? In the end, the prince and princess always live happily ever after, while you hardly qualify as a knight. If anything, you are merely a malicious supporting character. I maintained my indifferent demeanor, my expression mirroring Suan's pale face. Groom, please kiss your bride. At that moment, the system's voice interjected, Host, the exit portal has been activated. Countdown commencing. 10 seconds. The two voices intertwined, and Suan's pupils dilated as he emitted a piercing scream. He had previously yelled at me the day the system departed, so he could hear its voice, a phenomenon belonging to him that would not hinder my return home. Zhou Yu, what nonsense are you up to? You are merely trying to deceive me. Mom said you stayed in this world for us. You cannot leave, so stop pretending. Anger propelled Suan to grip me fiercely, his sharp teeth piercing my skin. 5, 4. The system's countdown neared its conclusion, and Su Shui rushed over, believing I was bullying Suan, and kicked me hard with her high heels. 3, 2.
Mom, stop him.
He wants to leave. He has no right to. Chaos erupted as Suan, alarmed, contorted his face in distress, clinging to my neck for security.
1.
Su Shui finally reacted, recklessly seizing my wrist. Unfortunately, I felt a sudden weightlessness, my spirit detaching from my body, leaving behind a cold shell. Someone is dead. Panic ensued. What happened? Did someone die just because a child spoke? The crowd dispersed in terror, and Su Shui looked incredulously at her own arms, covering her mouth in shock as she recoiled. Dad, what happened? Please don't scare me. Wake up. As the person closest to me, Suan was the first to sense that something was amiss. I felt a twinge of embarrassment for dying during such a joyous occasion, but this was my mission, and thus the wedding could not proceed. Su Shui struggled to hold her phone, her hands trembling as she dialed for help. My husband is dead. My husband. Please send someone quickly. Her words tumbled out incoherently. Eventually, Jiang Yi snatched the phone, clearly articulating our location. Upon the doctor's arrival, he merely glanced at the scene before shaking his head at Su Shui. This man shows no signs of life. Please accept my condolences. With a loud crash, Su Shui collapsed onto a round table, stumbling towards my lifeless form. Do not deceive me, Zhou Yu. You must have exploited the system's abilities, right? It left you with something else before it departed, didn't it? Stop pretending, get up. I'll even call off the wedding. When the system conveyed this, I was seated by the seaside on vacation. I was astounded by Su Shui's thought process. This was perhaps the epitome of a protagonist's narcissism, believing that everything others do revolves around her. Alas, I was merely a player in a game, incapable of falling in love. The system, intrigued by my presence, continued its narration. After my demise, Jiang Yi organized my funeral. He expressed dissatisfaction, repeatedly mentioning it in front of Su Shui. That was our wedding, Xiao Xue. He must have done this on purpose. Regardless of who it was, anyone would be furious if their most significant moment was marred. However, Su Shui had no time for Jiang Yi. She clung to my corpse like a madwoman, refusing to let go until it decayed, obstinately insisting on bathing it. Zhou Yu will return. He is so particular about cleanliness. If he finds out I did not take care of this, he will surely be upset. Have you lost your mind? The funeral preparations are complete. Let him rest in peace. Even when furious, Jiang Yi's tone retained a hint of placation. These past few days, he had worked tirelessly, attempting to assume the role of the male lead, yet lacking the status to do so. He could only strive harder to please. Su Shui, however, had shed her previous amiability, glaring at him with disdain.
Get out.
Are you done yet? This is my home. The wedding is off. And just seeing you makes me nauseous. If it weren't for you, Zhou Yu wouldn't have left. Su An's petite figure rushed out, forcefully knocking Jiang Yi to the ground. You took my father away. If it weren't for you, he wouldn't have died. You despicable man. All you do is seduce my mother and cling to her. It's all your fault that my father abandoned me. In a fit of rage, he kicked Jiang Yi, causing him to tremble in agony. I couldn't help but feel a pang of sympathy. How could a person's attitude shift so rapidly? But it matters not, for soon enough, everything will change. Su Shui will come to understand the essence of love amidst her suffering and live happily with the male protagonist. I am merely a foil, a catalyst for the narrative's completeness. No, host. The system abruptly interrupted my thoughts, revealing the subsequent events. I was taken aback to learn that Su Shui had truly lost her mind. She even contemplated killing the male protagonist of this miniature world. Such an act was impermissible. The male and female leads were the very essence of this world's existence. Should either perish, the entire realm would collapse. However, she found herself powerless. As Suan insisted on searching for me, she became utterly distracted at work, daydreaming during meetings, and carried an unpleasant odor about her. She could do nothing to halt the decay of my corpse, ultimately left helpless as she witnessed my demise while grappling with her own existence. Jiang Yi pleaded with her. Yet in his current state, he possessed nothing and could only beg like a dog. Shui, you promised me. How can you abandon me? You said you would marry me and spend your life with me. Zhou Yu has already left. He doesn't love you. He was always an outsider. We are meant to be together. I will take care of Anan and you. Please stop this madness. His eyes brimmed with tears, his frail body swaying precariously. Su Shui did not even bother to glance up, her gaze languidly fixed upon the heavens. No, he won't leave me. He's just angry, that's all. Afterward, she sent Jiang Yi abroad, forbidding him from ever returning. I interrupted the system's narrative, for after countless attempts at conquest, I knew the male lead's appearance was imminent. He was the true centerpiece of this tale, while we merely served as the groundwork. Unexpectedly, as I reclined comfortably in the grand villa, relishing my surroundings, the system grew frantic. Host. Su Shui insists on seeing you. If not, she will kill the male lead of this miniature world. You must intervene. The system cautiously proposed, for such matters should not fall upon my shoulders, yet Su Shui had become far too deranged. She had transformed into the most virulent virus in her world, leaving many powerless to act. I rubbed my temples in annoyance, listening to the system recount past events. Initially, everything had been well. Su Shui accepted the male lead's advances and exhibited signs of forgetting me. Suan also harbored affection for him, often gazing at him nostalgically. You resemble my father. He treated me so well, but he left. He no longer wants me. During these moments, Su Shui would display a wistful expression, gently patting his head. And then your father loves you. This was quite normal. It was merely a fleeting mention of a deceased individual. Thus, no one truly cared. Allowing the male and female leads to develop freely. Who could have predicted that Su Shui would become so unhinged, suddenly taking the male lead hostage and shouting into the sky? For so many years, I've sought countless ways to meet Zhou Yu, to escape this place. Yet all have failed, until now. He resembles Zhou Yu so closely, as if he were my destined lover. I knew my chance had arrived. I care not for your identities. Bring Zhou Yu to me, or I shall kill him. Thunder rumbled ominously in the sky, and Su Shui realized she had wagered correctly. The sharp blade pressed ever closer to the male lead's neck. The system acted with utmost urgency, transporting me back to the miniature world as it screamed in my mind. Upon returning, I briefly adapted before turning my gaze to Su Shui. During my vacation, I had encountered numerous innocent young women and had nearly forgotten her visage. Yet, she remembered me, racing towards me the moment we locked eyes. Zhou Yu, I realize my mistakes. Will you ever forgive me? Please come back. And I need you. Father, I promise I won't make you angry again. Don't abandon me. I carry your blood. I am your treasure. Without my care, Suan resembled a little beggar, tears and mucus streaming down his face. My disdain intensified, and I took a step back. You are not my child, Suin. You are merely an object created by this world's narrative. Countless versions of you exist across various realms. If every inhabitant of each world claimed to be my child, how many children would I have? And you, Su Shui, this is not your place. Let him go. He, like you, belongs to this world. You are truly meant for one another. To be frank, I found this mother and child before me repugnant, rendering me incapable of uttering anything kind. The system screamed in my mind, urging me to soften my tone. Host, Su Shui and her child have developed self-awareness. If you fail to pacify them, the world will collapse and you will be in danger as well. I scoffed. To me, code remained code. Even if endowed with human thought, what of it? They bore inherent flaws and folly, incapable of stirring significant turmoil. Suin could not accept my words, tears streaming down her cheeks as she stubbornly stared at me. You lie. I am my father's child. I am not some mere product. You love me so much. You always control me. Is that so? Feeding you, teaching you independence, guiding you in navigating life. Those are my duties and responsibilities. I genuinely attempted to save you, to rectify your mindset, but facts reveal that you possess an inherent malevolence. You are an incorrigible little brat. Had this incident not transpired, I would have preferred never to see you again. I interrupted Suin, and with each word I uttered, their faces paled further. Such malevolence is not inherited from me. It must stem from your mother, indicating that Su Shui is nothing more than a flawed individual. No. You love me. You appeared when I was at my lowest, helping me rise, safeguarding the company. After our marriage, you even sacrificed your own life to care for Nin. How could you not love us? Zhou Yu, the system must be forcing you, right? Tell me. For he is in my grasp. No one can compel us. Su Shui clutched her head, appearing utterly uncommunicative. After all these years, she remained unchanged, and I found my laughter increasingly sardonic as my voice rose. Do you still not comprehend, Su Shui? I am the conqueror. You are aware of this. My kindness was always driven by ulterior motives. It was never love, merely a duty. You claim I cling to you and find you repugnant, yet that is indeed true. After all, you work. You should understand the significance of performance. Such words were hurtful, yet they were the truth. I never loved the two individuals before me. Most times, their presence merely irritated me. No worker enjoys labor. If they do, they cannot be considered a competent worker. Fear not. You will come to love me. I only require you to return with me, and you shall never escape my grasp for the rest of your life. Su Shui could not leverage emotions against me. Her true self emerged, revealing a sinister visage. Zhou Yu, tell me, the system you trust so deeply, would it sacrifice itself for you? Or would it forsake you for him? Her intent to ensnare me through the male lead's life and death was both revolting and malicious. The system could not contain its indignation, unleashing a torrent of curses. Yet I remained undaunted. You are merely a series of data. Should he perish, this world will shatter, your family and friends will vanish, and you will become a fugitive, destined for obliteration. Su Shui, it is you who cannot afford to lose, not I. The knife in Su Shui's hand slipped, and the system utilized its power to save the male lead. This world had been irrevocably destroyed. Regardless of whether she killed him, their love would never flourish again. Diverging from the prescribed narrative, the main system has personally descended upon this place. With just a single catastrophe, all inhabitants shall vanish without a trace. Host, will this cause you distress? The system posed a trivial inquiry, to which I merely shook my head. What rewards might I receive from this event? My concern for the fate of these individuals paled in comparison to my desire for rewards. Such is human nature. Once one accepts that this is merely a construct of data, it becomes exceedingly difficult to empathize. Noting my lack of intent to intervene, the main system returned me to reality and granted me a promotion. This could be seen as a blessing in disguise. I would no longer need to enter the minor worlds, but instead transition to the background, addressing the issues faced by the strategists and providing guidance. No longer having to endure those fools was sheer bliss. I gladly accepted my new role, relishing the comforts of my office. Yet, Su Shui was up to her tricks again. Having developed self-awareness, she eluded the main system's control, disappearing alongside her son. The system re-entered my consciousness, ostensibly to protect me. Host, perhaps I should send you back to the minor world. Su Shui is insane, and what if she harms you? Currently, we cannot ascertain the source of the error. If she takes you away, you may never return. Never return? My heart stirred, not a whit. In fact, I felt a twinge of exhilaration. System, I am leaving. How could she possibly appear? Only in my presence could she seek me out. I am merely a target. Just data. What is there to fear? 2 days later, Siyu Shui finally made her entrance, disheveled and with parched lips, her origins unknown. Siyuan appeared significantly weakened, his pitiable state evident. The strategists, always eager for spectacle, gathered at the entrance, whispering among themselves. Could a mere string of data manifest in the real world? Do you consider them human? Who can say? It appeared so poignant. Was this the essence of love that alters everything? It was unexpected to find such naivete among the strategists, and he was inevitably taken away. I approached Siyu Shui with calm resolve. What price have you paid to arrive here? What is your purpose? Siyu Shui, you must understand. You are now a fugitive. No one can assist you. Strangely, both the main system and my own remained silent, as if rendered inanimate. This was highly unusual. Systems exist precisely to transcend the ordinary, and nothing should be able to restrain them. Yet Siyu Shui had succeeded. A mere construct of a system had achieved this feat. She was perilous. I needed to distance myself from her. I urgently instructed the strategists to keep their distance, while Siyu Shui's hand fell empty. A sinister grin spreading across her face. Zhou Yu, I now possess power to return to my side. No matter where you go, I can accompany you. Our family of 3 can thrive together. As long as you remain by my side, you'll come to realize that you still love me. She resembled a vengeful spirit, and the strategists frantically summoned their systems, all to no avail. This was an unprecedented situation, and for the first time, I felt a sense of crisis. I now understood why she had previously required my soothing presence even for the act of slaying a male protagonist, tasks the main system could accomplish without assistance. It was because the individual before me possessed the power to subdue the system. In other words, she was malevolent. The strategists, more cautious than I had anticipated, sensed the peril and fled, keeping a safe distance to observe. I dared not act impulsively, forcing a smile. Siyu Shui, cease your actions. If you stop, I can petition the main system for your preservation. Otherwise, the consequences will be dire. My voice exuded confidence, even as my legs trembled beneath me. Siyu Shui suddenly erupted into laughter, advancing step by step. Stop pretending. You cannot summon the system. Zhou Yu, come with me. Or, it will be your loved ones who perish. Who knows if you can still feign indifference this time? I found myself unable to comply. Data is merely data. Yet the strategists are living, breathing individuals, my kin. I could not bear to witness their brutal slaughter. After a moment of struggle, I relinquished my hands, signaling my willingness to accompany her. Siyu Shui wept tears of joy, eagerly grasping my hand and lifting Siyu and to depart. Host, now is the time. In a moment of crisis, the system's voice echoed in my mind, conjuring an image. If I were to pierce her neck, her powers would dissipate. I had no time to contemplate further. I seized the sudden object in my hand and thrust it forward with conviction. Siyu Shui collapsed in agony, and I discerned a faint glow emanating from her neck, imbued with the essence of the main system, yet somewhat altered. What was happening? I urgently called upon the system, and this time it appeared. It was the remnants of strategists who aided her. They seek to utilize her to exact revenge on the main system and obliterate everything here. This sounded terrifying, yet was that all? Sensing my skepticism, the system grew irate. They have all come into contact with the energy of the main system. Having exhausted every method, they finally discovered a means to restrain it. If only they had not been so foolish, their minds consumed solely with romance, they might have succeeded. I laughed, a loud, boisterous laugh. You are mistaken. She is not merely fixated on love. From the very beginning, she never loved me. She was only enamored with her wretched pride. I rejected her, casting her aside, and thus she obstinately sought to bring me back to prove herself. She is nothing but a string of failed data, a realization that makes me feel ill. The already wounded Siyu Shui trembled at my words.
Quan,
Somewhat slow to comprehend, crouched on the ground, no longer crying nor caring for his mother's wounds, his face etched with an unnatural malice for his age. You fool! We believed in you so trustingly, and yet you fell so easily. I should never have brought you out. Now, it is time for you to vanish. His mouth spewed incoherent sounds, the voices of those defected strategists. The main system acted swiftly, almost preemptively subduing him as he made his move. Siyuan cried out in torment, calling for me. Help me, I hurt so much. Daddy, please save me. The voice was his, yet I leisurely walked aside, observing the unfolding events with detachment. Siyuan was never a good child. At that moment, He was utterly broken. How can you be such a disgusting and irresponsible man? I am your son, and as I suffer, you remain indifferent. Mother should never have sought you out. Had it not been for you, we would not have reached this point, and I would not have to endure this pain. The strategists, who had briefly felt sympathy for him, were left dumbfounded as I gestured for see you and to continue his tirade. After all, the one in pain was not me. His words were futile. Detestable man, wild man.
Klingemann, losome strategists.
What gives you the right to look down upon us? I will surely overthrow you. These words were likely taught to him by the defected strategists. Yet the main system acted, ensuring none of them survived. Siyu Shui, stripped of all energy, rapidly aged, her hair turning gray. I drew closer, relishing her incredulity and fury. She questioned the main system. You created me and dictated my life. By what right? I am not mere data. I am a living being. Why must you govern my existence? She believed she spoke for the countless souls in the minor worlds, yet the main system remained merciless. Look at your wounds. What flows from them? It is a blue luminescence. In the real world, they are not considered items, and wounds do not bleed. Siyu Shui stood frozen momentarily, before bursting into tears. No, I am human. I am human. The main system raised its hand, projecting her past life before her. I created you, yet I did not overly interfere in your world. The appearance of strategists merely restored the narrative appropriately. If you had a strong desire, I would not have altered it arbitrarily. Moreover, are you not satisfied? Your life has been so fortunate, and you do not love Zhou Yu. You merely refuse to acknowledge your failure. As a data construct with a virus, you must be repaired. The first to vanish was Su and who, already on the brink of death, had no opportunity to struggle, dissipating like a mere bubble. Su Shui ceased her resistance. Every choice she made unfolded from her own conscious volition. She could not blame anyone, for the most selfish of all was she herself. In possession, she failed to cherish. In loss, she turned the world upside down in search of what was gone. If one were to speak of injustice, it would be the characters of that small world who are wronged, burdened with such a protagonist. Yet, in myriad worlds, each operates under its own set of rules. Existence is inherently justified, and I have never contemplated altering it. The strategists are predominantly cold-hearted and detached. Love is but a performance, as evident from one's own reflection, making it implausible to believe in those fantastical notions. Following the resolution of this incident, I was dispatched by the main system to instruct all strategists. Our missions are not always noble, but a single misstep could lead to the annihilation of an entire world. Strategists must be wary of developing emotions. One must comprehend that each individual they encounter is exceedingly complex, harboring their own flaws. Should you err, the repercussions extend far beyond your own demise. My words are starkly realistic, yet they are also practical. A worker is simply a worker, dutifully attending to their own responsibilities, aspiring for promotion and wealth. As for the extraneous issues, those are not for me to ponder, as they lie beyond my purview.
The end.